Okay, we'll check the binary right shift. ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ರೈಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದಾಗ ಸೊ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡಿಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಏನ್ ಎಂಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸತಿ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಲೋ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಮುಂಚೆ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇತ್ತು ಅದೇ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ರೈಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸೊ ಏನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ರೂ ಒಂದ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಆಗ್ತಾ 0 ಆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 8 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಆಲ್ 8 ಅದು 8 ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 8 ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ 0 ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಬೈನರಿ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರೈಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ರೈಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Okay, anybody have any doubts in this operators? Any of the operators in this concept?
No, sir.
Okay. So I have not executed this. We will do Y to right shift 2 bits. Okay, first we'll check with the 2. So after shifting the value 2 times, so the value become 1. So because this 2 will be completely converted to the binary value. So after that it will shift 2 times. Okay, it will shift 2 times means it will add zeros. So then it will become, then again after that it will convert that binary to decimal. So that time we get the result as a 1. So Y means this is. For example, if I take a 0101 is a 5, for just I am taking is a 4 bit. So that time if I want to shift to left side, sorry, this is a right shift. So we are adding left value to right side. So it means that, so in the first shift, what happens? 0, 1, 0. So 1 will come to last. Again, if it shift 1, 0, 1, and then 0 will go to last. So like this, it will shift. So, but as per this, so we are just taken only a 4 bit, but it will not take a 4 bit as this is the integer. So some machines will take a 2 bytes and some machines will take a 4 bytes. So if it is a 4 bytes, so then there will be a zeros appending with the 8 bits each time. So if it is a 4 bytes, this is the 1 byte, this is the 1 byte, this is the 1 byte, this is the 1 byte. So total it is a 4 byte value it will be stored for to store the 5. Okay, this value will contain at the beginning of the byte. So which will have only these 3-bit actual value. So because 101 is represent the byte. So when we make a 2 shift, so this 1 will go here and then 0, then again it will go here. Like this, it will do the right shift. So if we do the left shift, so we are getting a 20. So left shift means it will just add the 0. So just for to check how many times, how many bits are there. So I will just give, first I will give 8. So because it will shift left 8 times. So I'm getting 1280. So and I will give again 16. Then again I will give 32. Then I give 54. Let's keep increasing the value. So this is actually the 0 fill the left shift. So this is the left shift. So this is the right shift. So there is a bit shift calculator. So in that we can check decimal value. So I just give the number as a 5. So which shift I want to do. So let's do the left shift. Okay, so you just check with this. So what is the value it is generating? So there is a in your academics also there is an operations like a right shift and left shift. So that same thing will happen with the Python right shift and left shift operators also. So it will just shift the bits and it will again recalculate to from binary to decimal. So these are the very important operators. Only these are the operators we can get and we can do the calculation operations and everything. So next concept, let's see Python list. So already we have seen some list in when we are just checking with some other strings and all those things. So string list is also just a one type of data type. So it will store the multiple items in a single variable. So that items will be any type of, whether it is an integer value, string value, or any object. So any value we can store a multiple values in the list. So that list value will be mentioned within the square bracket. If it is a square bracket, it is a list. Okay, so let's create one simple list and we'll check. So how, when we are debugging, so what it will come. So there is no any data type we need to mention. So we just have to create a variable. So I just give a variable name as a var. And if we store the value within the square bracket, also we can initialize with just a empty square bracket. If it is an empty square bracket, so then we are going to declare the variable as a list. So for example, if I want to store a strings, so I am just storing the toString. So let's print in the so when I do step over, so it is created the variable as that variable name as a var, and we can see the type, it is a list type. So it is containing the values, two values. Okay, so like this, we have to declare the list type of variables. Also, we can initialize the value with empty, or else we can initialize the value with the whatever. If you want to initialize with some value, we can initialize to the list. So let's debug with the empty list. So now it is created a variable and it is the type of list, and this is having a empty list. So there is no values. List items are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. So ordered means, so whatever the values we have storing, so that will be having the order of the index. So for example, I am storing the two value. So this will be ordered as a, so this is the first index and this is the second index. So like this, it will be ordered. And this can be changeable. So it means that I can able to update the value. So by the index value, for example, where of 0 equals to, I'll just please update from Harsha to HR. Okay, so now let's debug the code. So after this, the value instead of HRSHA, so it has been updated after execution of this line. So like this, we can changeable. So we can update the list. Okay, also this will be accessible by the index values. So in the array, how you see, so there is an index from 0 to length till length of that array. So in the same way, list also can be accessible in the Python just by passing the index value like this. And also it is changeable. As I told you, I can able to add or update. I can remove that value also. Also, it will allow the duplication. So duplication means the same value I can add it 2 times. For example, already Harsha is there. So I can add one more with the same value. Just I will remove this. So the same value has been printed 2 times. So there is no, it will not check any duplicate values to insert. So this is the main features in the list. So depend upon these features, we can adopt where we can use this list type of variable. And there is a methods in the list, so which will get easy to like for example, if we want to get the length of the list, so easily by calling the method, we can able to access that length of the list. So if we want to check the length of this list, so there is a method called len. So whatever the methods are available, when you type it itself, it will come. So within that len, we need to pass the list object. So list object is the var. So now if I execute the code, it will show 3. So it means it is having the length of 3. And what are the data types we can able to store in the list? So this not only the string, we can store integer, float, and boolean. Even the boolean values also we can store. So any type of data we can store. There is nothing, any restriction that we can store in the list. I'm just creating the 6 variables. 6 values I'm adding into the list. It's created a list and it is having the 6 values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the index numbers. So index number of this. So this is the type is list type. So let's mix up with the string. I just added one string to this list. So then I can able to see this list containing the total 7 values. So in that 6 values are integer and the last value is the string type. Okay, so like this, by mixing the data types also we can use it. It means that we can store any type of data type. It is not like if we are using the integer type of list, we should follow all the values should be in integer. So it's nothing like that. We can store integer, even the floating values also. For example, I will give 5.6. So after creating this list, So this is having a float type also, string type also, and also there is an integer type. Okay. So this is the main list type, and the list. So list constructor means when we are creating a list, and when we want to store it some variable. So instead of like this, okay. So it's throwing the error. Okay, we need to use the two brackets. So this is just a method how we use the len. So in the same way we can use the list method. So which will construct and whatever the data we are passing inside these two brackets. So by taking those values, it will construct the list, and it will create the variable name as a var. So both are same. So we can initialize with that, with the square bracket like that, how previously we have seen. Otherwise, we can construct by using the list method also. So this is the one of the very important container which we are having in the Python. So also we also have a other type of similar type of containers, but it is not exactly the same like list. So there is a difference in that. So for like that, we have a tuples, sets, and dictionaries. So these are all the very important data types, because you should understand all these type, because most of our projects will be used only these type of data types. Okay, one by one, when you are when I am doing the class, after the class, you just practice all the data types. So these containers, collections. So for this also we call it as a collections. Okay, tomorrow we'll see the I will start with the next concept. So how to access, we can able to access the list items, and also how can we add the list items, how can we remove the list items, how can we compare, how can we loop that list. So we'll see in the next class. So what are the list operations we can do? Any doubts in this? I think this is a very simple, as I am thinking, so it will not be much difficult for you. Any difficult to understand these concepts? Everyone is understanding?
Yes, sir, we are understanding.
Okay. This is very simple only. If you have any doubts, you just ask me. Okay,
Yes,
this
sir.
complete all the Python concepts are very simple. So you just need to practice at home, and so then it will be easy for you to remember the concepts and everything. Okay, we'll connect tomorrow. Thank you all.